All right, y'all. 2024 coming to a close. Going into 2025, how we feeling about fighting games? Because I was left wanting this year, and I don't think much is going to change in 2025. Starting off on a pessimistic note, perfect for me. But in all seriousness, Under Night was my big hope. It was all of my hopes, and it was all of my dreams, and there were a bunch of issues. That's putting it lightly. But I'm not going to go into great detail because I think most of us are already aware of it, and I also have another video that I need to do some editing on, going into more depth about this particular scenario and French Bread feeling kind of like, whatever. You'll see it when it comes out. But French Bread shot themselves in the foot in terms of when it released and then how it released. Goodness gracious, both of those were absolutely awful. And so because of that, Under Night was really just never given a chance in the first place. And then I also shot myself in the foot twice. The first one being that I bought the console version instead of the PC version. And then the second time being stubbornly sticking to Enkidu instead of recognizing pretty much instantly, this character is going to make me not want to play this game. Switch to a different character. I'm really bad about that. I am off. It has happened in every fighting game that I shouldn't say every, but it's happened in a lot of the fighting games that I played where I wind up like Street Fighter 6 is another example where I don't love Street Fighter 6. It's never going to reach the heights of entertainment for me that series like Blaze Blue has, that Under Night does, that King of Fighters even does. But I like it. It's fine. I don't mind it. And I would play it more if I actually picked a proper character. But for some reason, the three characters that I played 99% of my matches on are all characters. They're, just in case you're curious, Marisa, Manon, and Zangief. I feel nothing playing them. Like, I get no positive elements out of landing good reads, landing strong combos, whatever. Like, they provide me with nothing. I have not enjoyed playing those characters. But I just stubbornly stuck to it anyway. Like, something's gonna click eventually. No, nothing's gonna click. Just switch your stupid character. This is a problem that has plagued me since day one of fighting games, and I'm still fighting it myself 15 goddamn years later. What is wrong with me? But so anyway, since we spoke of Street Fighter 6, actually no, let's speak of something else. The Bleach fighting game that's coming out. I'm kinda cautiously optimistic about it, because originally I just straight mistaken assumption on my part, my bad. But originally when it was coming out, I thought it was just going to be another one of those kind of cash-in arena fighters where there's not a whole lot of effort put into it. There's basically no passion behind the development of it. It was just a cash grab for the IP. That's what I assumed it was going to be. I was wrong. It actually looks pretty solid. I need to see a lot more of it. And I also need to see them announce Unohana Retsu as a playable character, because that would be my day one main. Thankfully there are, because I'm going to talk about City of the Wolves in a bit, so keep this point in mind when we talked about that. But there are some characters in the game that I'm hyped to play. Zaraki has always been one of my favorites in Bleach. Nell is a playable character, which is fantastic. I love Nell. And Genryusai as well. Like, who doesn't like that badass old man? So there are characters that are in there that I would definitely enjoy playing, but none of my favorite characters are in there yet. Ikkaku is another one. He's not there. Why is he not there? That dude is sick. Retsu is my absolute favorite. I'm blanking. Fuck, what was her name? Is it Kikaku? But like the gatekeeper person. She's not, her being in is a stretch. Like, there's no way they're going to put her in there. But I'd play her if she was in there. Either way, so I don't have, like, a character yet that I would be like, oh my god, I have to play them. But there are characters that I'm interested in. And I am interested in the game itself. So it's kind of weird that, like, this game that originally I just dismissed out of hand has become kind of my great hope. Like, maybe, possibly, this could actually be a decent fighting game. I'm interested now. So that's kind of my hope for 2025. I don't even know if it's releasing in 2025, but I have to imagine it's close. But so since I mentioned City of the Wolves, let's talk about City of the Wolves. This is a game that I should be hyped for. But, and there are a lot of buts, SNK number one is fantastic at fucking everything up aside from the core gameplay. Sometimes they also fuck up the core gameplay. KOF 14 looking at you. But most of the time, the gameplay is in good hands, and it plays really well. But there's always something about SNK that they just... King of Fighters 15. had the matchmaking where like a large portion of the people trying to play the game literally could not play the game because matchmaking was broken for them. So like just to describe to you my final experience in the game. This was long before King of Fighters 15 had dwindled down to the numbers that it gets right now, which is still it still gets a decently respectable amount of people playing on a daily basis. But this was when there were still like listed around a couple thousand people playing uh at any given moment. I played against somebody, and so I played them, went back into matchmaking, sat in matchmaking for like 15 minutes straight, to a point where I was like, I should cut my losses here and just leave and do something else. But I'm stubbornly sticking to this. I want to see how long this is going to take. 15 minutes later, it matches me up against the same person. And so after that, I did cut my losses. And that was the last time that I played King of Fighters 15. And I am not alone in that. Like, it was a huge problem. And again, it took them years to fix, which is absurd. And I'm not here to just sit here and bash on SNK, but trust me, there is a laundry list of things I could talk about surrounding King of Fighters 15, surrounding the King of Fighters 13 remasters, surrounding Samurai Showdown. Like, there's so much that they just continually fuck up to the point where I have no faith in them as a company, really, to get this right. So, like, I'm already kind of just, I'm going to sit back and wait. That is not a day one purchase for me in the first place. But I mentioned the whole character thing. In every fighting game that I have ever been excited for, in every fighting game that I have played, there has always been at least one character that I can point to and be like, that's my character. Every single one. But there's nothing in City of the Wolves. I do not have a single character that I'm like, oh shit, this character gets me hype. There's nobody. I genuinely don't even know who I would wind up playing if I did play the game. I think, actually, I take that back. If I got the game right now, Tizok would be the only character I'm even moderately interested in. But it's a very moderate interest. Because I played King of Dinosaurs in King of Fighters 15. He's fun, but it's kind of whatever. Doesn't give me the same kind of... I need that giddy feeling that I get when I land good stuff. The character has really cool options available. It feels good to land them. It feels good when you are rewarded with good reads or good offense or whatever the case is. Azrael gives me all of that. Tager and BlazBlue gives me all of that. There's, again, a laundry list of characters that I could go through for all the fighting games that I have played extensively where I get that feeling. I did not get that feeling ever with King of Dinosaurs. It's just kind of the same thing as like Zangief. He's fine. I don't think the character is bad. I don't like lose my mind just like I do with Enkidu, where it's the exact opposite, where it gives me the exact opposite of giddiness. It causes me nothing but anguish. But it's just kind of like a flat line. Like, it gives me nothing. I need something. And there's no character that I've seen yet that seems to potentially give me that hype feeling that I really want from a fighting game. Whereas, it's SNK, King of Fighters, I have pretty much the entire team Akari. I'm not good enough at the game to play Leona, but I would if I was. But both Ralph and Clark are sick. Those were both day one mains. Vanessa, Luong. I need to look at a character select list because I haven't thought. Yori is another one. There are plenty of characters in the King of Fighters series and every single version of King of Fighters that I have played that I'm like, oh yeah, that's a character that I absolutely need to learn. Nothing in City of the Wolves. So I'm not even that excited for even just removing the whole discontent with SNK and how they typically handle things. I just haven't seen anything to get me truly hype about the game. And that's really sad, both for me and I think for SNK in general, because I think, so in the video that I mentioned earlier, I talk about how Arc System Works benefited massively, both from obviously Dragon Ball FighterZ being enormous, but also from Guilty Gear Strive dropping in perfect circumstances for success. Like, there were no obstacles in its way, there was nothing drawing attention away from it. It landed in the middle of the pandemic and right in the middle of all of the major fighting game releases. So there was nothing to make people be like, oh yeah, sure, Strive's right there, but I'll just wait, a month or two for this next product to come out. Or in the case of Under Night and Tekken 8, a day or two. Good choice there. But there was just nothing. And so you can't attribute a huge amount of Strive's success to the massive lack of competition around it. People were looking for a new fighting game, and now here comes Guilty Gear Strive, the game made by the people that made Dragon Ball Fighters. Well, shit, yeah, we're gonna jump on that. And I feel like we're kind of approaching a point. I don't think we're there yet, but we're approaching a point that's very similar for somebody else to swoop in and drop their own Guilty Gear Strive, which is potentially where City of the Wolves could have wound up. But again, ArcSys, their big opportunity, their massive opportunity was Dragon Ball Fighters, and they smashed it out of the park. Like, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the gameplay. Obviously, the roller coaster of balance patches ever since its release is a story of its own, but it is absolutely undeniable that they crafted a beautiful, not loyal, faithful adaptation of Dragon Ball in the form of a fighting game that got a lot of people interested in fighting games that weren't before, and also interested in Arc System Works, which you can directly lead to the success of Guilty Gear Strive. That was also another significant portion of Strive's success, was that now everybody's like, oh shit, ArcSys is kind of that dude. I need to pay attention to what they're doing, because this game was fire. This was awesome. I love it, and I want to see more of it. So here comes Guilty Gear Strive, capitalizing off of that. A similar scenario, I think, was Samurai Showdown for SNK. That game got way more attention, nowhere near Dragon Ball, but way more attention than anything SNK had dropped prior to it. And they fucked up everything aside from the gameplay itself. And so, I feel like that was their big opportunity. And it's going to require something that's not directly tied now to King of Fighters or Fatal Fury or whatever to get people's attention again. And so because people have already been burned by SNK in the past, they're just like, yeah, I'm not even going to worry about it. There's no chance for City of the Wolves to pop off on that level. That's just, again, my own personal opinion, but we'll see how it goes. But like I said, I'm not really that excited for it. Then you have Hunter Nen Impact, which the less said about that, the better. I have no idea, like, the people... It's both, I guess, a blessing and a curse that fighting games are as niche as they are, because you have to imagine, like, imagine if you, as a fighting game fan, were in control of the Hunter x Hunter IP, and you licensed it out to this company, and they come back with, you know, like, the trailers they've shown off so far, and you're like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, no, we're cutting our losses. Like, I am not letting this come out and be a part of the Hunter x Hunter name. Hell no. But you have to imagine these people know fuck all about fighting games. So they have no idea what they're looking at. They don't know that what they're seeing is absolute garbage. Just a travesty of wasted effort on one of the worst looking, sounding, playing fighting games I have seen in recent memory. Fuck, what a disgrace to Hunter x Hunter. Aiding has fallen from grace so hard, dude. DNF Duel was a good, we're talking about missed opportunities. DNF Duel was a good shot for them because the game looked great, sounded great, trying to capitalize off the DNF name in general. And boy, did that not work out. And now they're working on this? Holy shit. I am never going to trust an Aiding product again. And then you have 2XKO, which who knows where the hell that's coming out. But that's another case of, like, I have nothing that I saw during the beta provided me any level of excitement of potentially playing the game. All that it looked like to me was slower, less creative BlazBlue cross tag battle. That's the best way that I can describe it. And then on top of that, I know that there's actually a surprising crossover of people that play both MOBAs and fighting games. So I don't know how many of you guys have actually played League of Legends. I have. I know all the characters. Well, all the characters that have not been released in the past year. Because I think that was the last time I played. It was probably around a year or two ago. So I don't know any of the recent character drops, but I know most of the cast. And the characters they have selected to be in the game so far are genuinely the most dull, obvious, yeah, of course they have to be here character selection so far. There's nothing there that's like, oh, hell yes. Oh, I'm so happy. I didn't know if this character was going to make it, but I'm so happy they're there. Nothing yet. So obviously, can't really say I'm excited for that. Plus, the chances of it coming out in 2025 with the absolutely glacially slow progress they've been making on the game, I have no idea how anybody can have an entire team of people working on a video game and have it go this slowly. It is wild. What else is there for fighting game related? Like, is there really anything on the horizon? Because I've seen some recent rumblings where, like, it's been long. It's been 3 years, 3.5 years since Guilty Gear Strive released. I think, again, I don't pay terribly close attention to Strive, so I don't know. But wasn't Dizzy like character number one for a new season of DLC? So they still have a handful more characters to drop for that. But obviously, that does not require an entire team of people to continue just doing DLC characters. So you have to assume that they're working on something. But whether or not it's going to be something that can drop this year, who knows? And on top of that, what's it going to be? That's the big question. Because I am of the opinion that BlazBlue should just be allowed to rest. Obviously, a big component of that is that I do not want to see a BlazBlue game get Strivified. And I know that there are fans of Guilty Gear Strive right now listening to me. I don't want to just sit here and trash the game, but I genuinely I don't like Strive on any level, just personally. So I do not want to see a game series that is my favorite fighting game series of all time potentially become something that I wish didn't exist. That's already happened. Like, it's one of the worst things about seeing like game studios be bought up by bigger game studios and then all the talent leaves. Basically, right now in my head, I'm thinking of BioWare, where like, man, BioWare used to be a ride or die company for me. I would buy anything they brought out. Did you know, you may not know this, they released a Sonic RPG-ish game. I think it was called like Dark Brotherhood or something on, it was either the DS or the 3DS. I want to say it was the DS. I bought that because I had so much faith in BioWare, and it was actually a decent game. It wasn't bad. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad. But now, I had absolutely zero interest, even before the release, even before all the stuff talking about it. I had no interest in the new Dragon Age. Mass Effect Andromeda was just an absolute travesty of a game, just awful all the way around. That game is just, like, I have no faith in BioWare, and I will likely never buy another BioWare product. I don't want to see that happen to ArcSys. But because of the success of Guilty Gear Strive, that might be the case moving forward in the future if all of their games follow that same design philosophy. And so I don't want to see that happen to BlazBlue. Just let BlazBlue rest, let it chill, let it have its legacy. That's what I'm hoping for, but obviously we'll see. They got to do something, and it seems like they're scared because all of the pre-release Strive like interviews with Daisuke that I saw, and with whoever the other guy was that was like the main like battle designer, I can't remember what his name was, but I hated pretty much every single one of his responses because they were so blatantly lying. But anyway, it all seemed to me like he wanted to make a new game. Like, he just wanted to make a brand new series with brand new gameplay that was not tied to the old style of Guilty Gear, but that they didn't have faith that an original IP would be able to sell, and so they had to use the Guilty Gear name to do it. But maybe now, because they have the coupled success of Dragon Ball FighterZ alongside Guilty Gear Strive, maybe they have the balls to just do something completely original. Like, cross my fingers. I would really hope that they would go that route. And then I've also seen other people saying that they think that, okay, yeah, they did Dragon Ball FighterZ, then they did Guilty Gear Strive, so next up is going to be another anime IP fighting game. Which I kind of hope that they don't, personally. And it's not out of kind of like the same fear of like, oh, fuck, like they're going to ruin BlazBlue, they're going to ruin what I love about it. It's not that. I just kind of don't want to see them become the anime people. Like, I think it's wasted on them. I would rather them try to do something original and try to have something that doesn't directly compete with Strive, but that also occupies a similar sphere of like, for the people that don't like Strive, here's this. That's would obviously be my hopes and dreams, but who knows? It's all pure speculation at this point. And but yeah, like, that's kind of all of it. We're just, fighting games right now are in a spot where none of them really excite me. And it's kind of shown where like I'm just not really playing fighting games these days. The closest is Under Night, but as mentioned, the fatal flaw of its release basically guaranteed that it was going to be a Discord fighter fairly quickly. 6 months in between DLC characters is absurd. And then just again, the fact that all of my time so far playing the game has been playing as Enkidu, and I don't that was just such a massive mistake, and it kind of destroyed the desire to play the game, which that's entirely my fault. That has nothing to do, well, I shouldn't say nothing to do, because it's their fault that he's ruined, but it's my fault for sticking to the character. I should have switched long ago. And who knows, I might still be playing it, and I might have more of a desire to play it. But another aspect of it is also, again, just a personal issue, that I need something, whenever I'm playing any kind of multiplayer games, my schedule in general is so random that I need a game that I am confident that whenever I want to, I can play it and find matches. And that is not what Under Night is right now. And so I don't want to have to try to plan my day around a window of opportunity to play Under Night. I want to be able to just sit down whenever the fuck I can and play Under Night, and that's not possible. So that leads me to playing, I started playing Street Fighter 6 again. Right now I'm playing Marvel Rivals, which is a massive mistake. I forgot how miserable team-based games are. It's just amazing to watch, where number one, I'm playing it on console, so I'm playing it on pad, and holy shit, I've never really played fighting games. I never really played shooting games all that much. So my shooting game mechanics are hot garbage, to put it lightly. And yet somehow, my own personal feeling is that I am so bad at shooters that I should be the worst person in every single match, because my aim is just atrocious. I can't hit the broadside of a barn. I'm working on it, but right now I can't do that. And yet somehow I'm still almost always at the top of the charts for kills and damage. And I know that does not tell the whole story. I'm not one of those dudes just well, I did the most damage, so clearly I'm not the problem. It's like the person that has 5 times as many deaths as everybody else. Well, I did the most damage in the game, so I did my job. No, motherfucker, you were constantly dead and put us at a numerical disadvantage. It's your goddamn fault. Stop paying attention to only damage. But my point being, if I can't hit anything, how the fuck am I doing damage? So if I'm missing 90% of my goddamn shots, how am I still doing the most damage in this match? How bad are y'all? It just blows my mind. But still, that is a game that I can sit down and play whenever the hell I want to. And so it leads me to playing a game that I don't really enjoy as much, but I can enjoy it more. It's like Elden Ring versus Bloodborne. That's how I've always kind of, I have all the Souls games kind of categorized in my head as Bloodborne for me is the best pure experience that you can get out of FromSoft. But Elden Ring, it doesn't have the highs that Bloodborne has. And it has a whole lot of lows, because there are a lot of repeat dungeons, repeat bosses, and those just aren't fun at all. But the amount of content you get out of Elden Ring, holy shit. And so if you're looking at a game to try to play, Elden Ring's probably going to be better, because you get a lot more value for your dollar. Kind of the same thing, where it's sure, I'm not getting the highs that I would get out of Under Night, but I sure am getting a lot more out of whatever other game I try to play. But what I really need to do is sit down and actually try to learn Chun-Li, fail at that. I know it's the same thing with Merkava. Every fighting game that I play, there's at least one character, if not multiple, that I'm I want to learn that character. I'm going to play that character. And I either never do, or I do and I very quickly realize, all right, this is not the character for me. The appeal of them is far higher than my actual ability with them. Hakumen and BlazBlue is another one. How many times have I tried to play Hakumen? It's never worked. It's never going to work. He's not my style of character. But I keep that desire to play him is always there. Hakumen is actually the main reason why, when I saw how cool his special moves looked and shit in CT, that's the main reason why I started paying attention to BlazBlue in the first place. So that kind of feeling is always going to be there for Hakumen. But I'm never going to be good at him. And it's kind of the same thing with Chun-Li. I've tried to play Chun-Li in every single version of Street Fighter that I've ever played, and she never clicks. But I always try to make it happen. It's going to happen again in Street Fighter 6 at some point. And eventually I'm going to hit a wall and be like, okay, yeah, this was a mistake. I'm going to switch to Cammy. From day negative like 100, whenever the hell they announced Cammy, I was like, holy shit, Cammy's my character. Before it was known that she was a top tier character, before Punk was running the world with Cammy, I knew Cammy was my character. And I still haven't played her. And I wonder why I'm not playing Street Fighter 6. Just pick the goddamn character you know is yours. Fuck! Instead, I waste time trying to pick characters that I don't enjoy at all, spend hours of my time hating myself. No, just switch characters, you dumbass. Okay, anyway, sorry. That little rant aside, I hope, like, I know I kind of trashed on SNK and City of the Wolves a lot. I hope for the best for them. I hope, like, every single time, I want them to turn it around. I don't want them to keep fucking up. But I also don't have any faith that they're not going to, because they so regularly do. But aside from, like I said, Bleach Rebirth of Souls is actually looking like it has some potential, so I'm going to pay closer attention to it. I'm going to watch it, because it may very well be, imagine if that becomes kind of like the spiritual successor of Soul Calibur. That's kind of the potential I'm seeing out of it. And Tekken needs that competition, for sure. Like, Virtua Fighter 6 potentially coming out and the excitement people showed around that trailer is probably the best thing that can happen to the Tekken community. Because God knows whatever the fuck they've been doing so far is not working. I don't know what... I have no idea how Harada has fans. I genuinely don't. Like, how do you have any faith? Okay, sorry. Don't do it again. Just suffice to say, I was not seeing this random Bleach fighting game being my great hope to get into a recent fighting game. But hey, it's there and it's looking interesting. So y'all let me know how you're feeling, what you're playing, you're enjoying yourselves. I'm out.